All right, I have 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let me share my screen. Great, let's do this right. Awesome. All right, there we go. I can't see you, so somebody tell me you can see what I want you to see.
Yeah, we can see it. Thanks, Joan.
Awesome. All right, I'm not great at the Zoom thing yet. I've obviously gotten used to Hangouts, but Zoom is a little different. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's talk about PeopleOps and our functional update. We have, gosh, stay still. We have accomplishments. We have launched Grovo. It's a learning management system. We created introductory manager and IC individual contributor courses. We'd love your feedback on what we've created so far. If you've not been in, please get in. What I haven't done well is go back and analyze who has completed our first set of courses, which I had asked to be completed by the end of January. So I will do that, and I'll remind folks that haven't had the opportunity to get in and explore yet. And we want your feedback because, as I'll get to in a minute, we plan to create new courses, and I want to be sure that Abby and I are really focused on what the organization needs and what will best help with the challenges that we have, either as individual contributors or as managers. There's a wide variety of curriculum out there that Grovo has already prepared, and it just takes time to put it together. So we launched that in December and plan on coming out with more courses in Q1. We also launched Lattice for the administration of our OKRs. And our OKRs as an organization are available to the public. I've included the link here. That is also on the strategy page, which we'll be breaking off to a different page and creating really much more information around Lattice and around OKRs, around company goals. That will be built out in Q1, but we do have the corporate goals and the individual goals. Note, I will make a note here because I've gotten some feedback and some questions that your individual work towards or progress towards your OKRs is not being shared, just the goals themselves, the goal tree. I think Sid said it best at the summit, and a goal is for Q1 with a great team, create the next generation product used by everyone. And that essentially embodies the Q1 corporate goals that each of our individual OKRs are built off of. We plan to use Q1 to better understand Lattice itself, the tool, what's working in the tool, and where we can improve, where we can make improvements. And your feedback is always welcome in that process. We made improvements to the hiring process. I think over the last Q4, over the last, let's say, 3 or 4 months, Nadia and Sasha have done an amazing job at understanding what the organization needs as far as requirements for positions and taking the load off of hiring managers to source and screen candidates and move the most qualified candidates through the interview process to the hiring team. This has, if I had to quantify this has allowed managers to focus more time on their teams and their objectives. And we literally could count the dollars saved on productivity or saved from lack of productivity and quantify having even probably more recruiters on the team. Oops, backwards. Concerns. I'm hearing, and the team is hearing, and they fed me back some concerns around the organization around PIPs. We have an underperformance section in the handbook. We've modified that recently to try to better help the organization better understand that not every situation qualifies for a PIP. That a PIP is a positive approach to identifying and closing the gap between what a role requires and current skill sets or behaviors. So PIPs are GitLab's way of, in other organizations, it can be called warnings, it can be called performance improvement. we've kind of wrapped all of this into what we look at as a much more positive process. And that is having improving that relationship between the manager and the team member, and better understanding where we need to get to and how, and supporting how we're going to get there. We haven't gotten a lot of feedback on our previous What's on Your Mind surveys. So Brittany posted yesterday our changed that process, a stay interview. So we've historically only gotten about 30% participation. Now that could be for good reason. People don't have anything, quote, negative to say, so they feel like they don't need to participate. We want to hear all feedback. We want to hear what's going well. We want to hear what's not going well so that we can make improvements. The survey, we changed it a little bit to be completely anonymous. There's no opportunity to go back and make a change, which means we don't collect your information when you submit it. So I'm trying to establish a trust in the organization that you can say what's on your mind. You can say what you're really feeling and what you're concerned about, and what you're happy about. And that we in PeopleOps, and specifically Abby, Brittany, and myself, will take that information and we'll filter it and we'll share it as appropriate, but obviously not down to the people level, to the participant level. What are our plans? We are planning in Q1 to measure hiring and onboarding processes. We really are getting feedback that our onboarding process is overwhelming to the non-engineer type. So we are, Sasha has created a 60-day survey to collect feedback from team members to evaluate their onboarding experience. And the essence behind this, or the reason behind this, is to make that process better for everyone. We're also collecting feedback and what they call a net promoter score, which is an evaluation, a 1 to 4 or 1 to 5 scale that you use to create a better understanding and a, not necessarily an affirmation, but to understand and to improve where our hiring process can improve. We're looking at all candidates. We're sending the survey to all candidates who have been disqualified. So this is not about people who've made it through the process. This is about people who get dropped out of the process, and we're trying to ensure that our process is has human elements to it, is efficient, and is respectful. We're also going to build out our leadership program. Abby and I are working on deploying more management development courses in Grovo. We will begin to build an engagement of our management team. We're going to build discussions around literature, around articles, around books that we're posting as good books to read and good reference materials to have. We are also going to begin to seek to pair a mentor, a more experienced manager, with a new manager, so that those trials and tribulations and challenges and obstacles, you have somebody to bounce that information off of. And whether we do it in a group setting or whether we do it in an individual, those are things we're looking at to better support our leadership team. We're also looking to improve processes that change as we grow. GitLab is growing at a very strong rate for the right reasons, and processes and policies will change. More, unfortunately, we'll end up with areas of more compliance and more governance, but we'll also need to go back and take a look at policies that talk about our flexibility and talk about the essence of GitLab, and we'll make sure that those policies and processes are up to date and they represent where we are now and where we're looking to be. Questions? I think I need to actually stop sharing, maybe go back to chat and look at the questions here that you're coming up with. All right, questions in the chat channel. Survey went out last night to all who started in November and December. Oh, that's Sasha saying that the 60-day survey went out to everybody that was hired. So some of you may have participated in a test survey that Sasha did on getting your feedback on onboarding and finding out if you have anybody that you would like to refer. And there's a couple of things that we're trying to gather in there. And effective February 1, we were looking back to formally put this out to those who were hired in November and December. Regis says, I don't know how we could make Grovo more visible. I keep forgetting about it. Well, I'm not doing a good job then, Regis, of reminding you that it's there, and that I think we put out this initial set of courses and knew that we had the holidays ahead of us and had the summit ahead of us. And so we tried to set the deadline to complete those in time that people wouldn't feel rushed or feel that it was, hanging over their head. But we really would like the feedback. So when we put out the new set of courses, we'll do a better job at developing a campaign that advertises that it's out there. Cool. Maybe your first coffee chat could be automatically on your onboarding or with your onboarding buddy. Nice. I would expect that your onboarding buddy reaches out to you. If that's not happening, let Brittany or Abby know that. But your onboarding buddy should be reaching out, because there's a reminder that goes out to that person to say, hey, reach out to Jim and say hi, and yeah, schedule a coffee break with him. So I don't disagree, Jim. Maybe not the first one, but certainly within that first set of coffee chats that you have. It should be the first, Elja. It should be the first. Help me, Cal.
Sorry, I was just agreeing that it should be the first call that you get.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So the buddy should be reaching out and saying, hey, here's who I am and here's what I do, for you and for GitLab, and I'm here for you. And I think Sid said it really well in the last GitLab 101. This is the person that you should be able to ask what you think you shouldn't ask because you think you should know this already, right? This is the person that's going to help you through maybe the awkward situations or point you to the people that you need to go to fix a problem. So that buddy is really important to start things off. If you feel that we are not pairing you up with the right kind of person, we're happy to get that feedback as well. We try to take the attempt to begin to pair people that are not necessarily going to meet up or see each other, a technical resource, an engineering resource with a non-engineering person, because the non-engineering team tends to have more challenges with Git and GitLab. So that resource was there not just for helping you find things in the handbook, but also for maybe getting you to a resource that can help you technically as well. Kirsten, the plans are showing for people that have not yet been hired, and for the management team. What is going to happen for the IC part of the team? What are you working on in terms of change? I'm sorry, Kirsten, what plans? What am I missing? Plans are showing for people that have not yet been hired and for the management team. Somebody want to help me interpret this so I can answer the question?
I think, Joan, the question is that we have suggestions listed for what we're doing to help managers and to help new employees, but for existing individual contributors, do we have anything in mind that the PeopleOps is working on? PeopleOps team is working on.
Sure. So we are developing, the directive and the initial reason that we wanted to create Grovo was to create a leadership curriculum. And to that point, you're right, we spend a lot of time, organizations spend a lot of time on engaging and investing in the leadership team, because obviously, they drive our business forward, but so do every individual contributor plays an incredibly important part in that, and building skills. So what Abby and I included in the first run in Grovo was a set of individual contributor skills and courses. We're going to do that again. I think Abby put an issue out. I believe I put that in the agenda. And let's see, yep, 169, right? If you want to put ideas and thoughts as to what good curriculum would be, what you're looking for from an individual contributor. Again, Grovo has a huge library. We just haven't gotten a chance to go through the library and then offer you or put together those pieces of content to develop a course in. But we'll take your suggestions. We will address what you're looking for first, and then we'll just keep coming. Eventually, we're going to have a very wide library that you can go in and just choose individual pieces of curriculum. Let's see, the plan slide of the presentation. Yep, okay. Oh, sorry, Kirsten's mic's not working. Right, okay. There's been some discussion around the UK contracts, which require us to pay back days taken over the allowed. Good grief, who said that? This seems to conflict with our values. Those who are involved in that discussion need to reach out to me, because that's not a true statement. There's no accrual for paid time off. Therefore, there's no payback and there's no payout if someone would leave. The process is you take days as you need them. And obviously you work with your management to make sure that is, that you're aligned, but there's no payout or payback or what I think we might be seeing in the UK piece is UK statute requires us to collect an audit trail of the days taken. And it's really to protect the people, because I suppose policies can say anything, but the legislation says we want you to have an audit trail that proves that the people are taking the days that we say you must give them. And so this has created a bit of controversy, because this sounds like we PeopleOps are now instituting tracking time, and that's not the case at all. We're trying to meet the compliance requirement. And Abby is working with Brittany to build, I believe, in Bamboo, some kind of tracking mechanism, because we're going to be out of compliance, which puts us at risk, and we don't want that to happen. But I think the discussion was, is this a good tool? And I'm not going to get into a big, long discussion right now about, I've seen on the Slack channel lots of conversation about tracking time off, and that feeling like we are now putting limits on, or now monitoring or managing it. And so understand that right now, from the UK perspective, it's an audit / statutory requirement. And that's where we're at right now. But we are looking at how that could help us prove to the world that unlimited paid time off actually works. So I'm going to put a completely different spin from what I saw as limitations or governing or monitoring. And I'm going to tell you that one of my goals is to prove that remote working is actually a positive thing, and it is a productive and a healthy environment for the organization. And it would help me greatly to prove to the world that people are using the paid time off policy and using it appropriately and using it responsibly. And so that's my perspective on this piece of it. And we'll flush that out more as we build that out. I hope that makes sense. Recommended minimum maternity. Brittany is working with Abby on looking at the global approach to maternity, paternity, parental leave. And so we're going to come out with something like that. Right now, the unlimited paid time off covers that, because we say it is what it is. And as long, again, as you align with your management and your responsibilities are taken care of, then we encourage you to take the time off that you need to build that bond. As I spoke about compliance, right? In the US, we are now at a place where we have a number of employees that meet the requirement for us to now abide by what they call FMLA, Family Medical Leave Act responsibilities. Just sort of like the UK requirement on tracking time off, there is a statutory requirement in the US that allows people to apply for and be approved for by a third party an amount of time off to bond to whether it's for medical conditions or for parental. So all of these things are under the umbrella that Brittany's working on right now on defining a better parental policy. All right. Now the rolling's getting away from me. Let's see. Let me go back real quick. discussion around UK contracts. Oh, we talked about that one. Timeline. Timeline is on the parental policy is Q1. That's next on Brittany's list, is to really dig in. Again, globally, it is almost impossible for us to know what statutes are everywhere, but it has to be taken into consideration. And what we're trying to do is develop a global policy. And there's lots of ways to look at that. Do you pick the most stringent? Do you pick the most advantageous? Do we administer it by country? That's what most companies do that have presence in multiple countries. Don't have an answer for you, but we're working on it. Yep. Clement, no policy. Yep. Awesome. You guys are answering all the things I just repeated. Have more leave, country specific. Yep. Sean, that's a particular line. If on termination of your employment holiday you have taken exceeds your accrued entitlement, you have agreed. Is that a particular contract piece, Sean?
Yes, that is. So actually my question had nothing to do with the listing or requiring to take the minimum 20 days. I know that's UK law and I think it's a good thing. It was more around the fact of that particular clause. If we take over, we have to pay it back, which means we don't actually have unlimited holiday. It's just normal paid.
Yeah. So again, we have a third party who's been working with us to create these contracts based on the statutes. And you all know GitLab is forging new ground and is different and is facing a number of challenges that that we're still trying to figure out. So there's contract language that doesn't necessarily that will not be enforced, I suppose, is maybe the way to put it, because we have a larger set of a bigger policy than what is offered. So there is no intention of asking anybody to pay back more than the days that are allowed.
Okay. I'm so glad to hear. Thank you. In terms of the contract itself, will that be amended? Because obviously signing the fact that that is the case means we've got nothing to stand on.
Yep. No, I don't disagree that signing something that has contractual language makes it tough to then trust that, well, if Joan goes away, the next person might say, oh no, you signed a contract and you owe me back 15 days and that's that. And that would really suck. I hope that Joan's not going away. So that's the first part. And the second piece is I will leave that with Abby to do some research with Vistra, who is the organization that we work with on a third-party basis for payroll administration. And they helped us develop this contract. So we'll challenge them and we'll ask them if we can take that out, or we can substitute that with the fact that because we offer unlimited paid time off, there will be no payback. Maybe if we put it after that piece of it.
Thank you, Joan.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Let's go back. I don't want to miss anybody's questions. Some UK contract stuff. If there's a very small group that have to do with the recent UK transition from contractor to employee. So if there's specific questions, I'll ask Abby to keep an eye on this and to help me respond to those and bring those out to Vistra so that we can continue to address them. Parental leave. Yep. Issue 88 is the parental leave issue. Brittany's making sure everybody knows that. Go there and monitor what she's working on. All right. Am I missing any questions? GitLab.com is still down. Well, I can't fix that one. Sorry. But that's a good announcement to make. Not really a good one, but it's good for us to know. All right, keeping abreast of the time as well. Are we working on guidelines for promotions and salary raise for the current team? Absolutely. Actually, I think Brittany has drafted some, and They are under review at this point. So there's a difference between the transactional process that we're trying to build, a nice strong process that has a workflow attached to it to make it easier for managers to recommend job changes and career ladder changes and promotions and salary increases. But then there's also an initiative going on around the compensation. We know there's the comp calculator. We've I believe Ernst is caught up now to most, if not every job. Now I need to catch up to look at everyone that's outside of ranges. And then we're going to build a process during which we take a look at everyone in the organization. So it will become more of an annual process. It's much easier to administer. It gets everyone in a sort of a normal cadence for the opportunity to look at promotions and increases. And it's far better financially for the organization to budget for increases and then to administer those. Is there, so are we working on it? Absolutely. It is a first quarter initiative for me. We see a lot of promotions in the tech part of the team, but not outside. Okay. Career ladders, that's something that we need to work on creating. And these are all things that happen as a company matures. So bear with us as we're building those things out. I've heard people say, gosh, you have 5 people in PeopleOps. What do you do? This is what we do, folks. We do a lot of research. We do a lot of responding. We do a lot of creation of policies, but it doesn't happen overnight. So this is these are great things to talk about and great policies and processes to improve on. And we have Q1. Our focus in Q1 is to really to take a look at these really fundamental compensation practices, and now that the organization is growing, promotional opportunities and career ladder opportunities. Don't have an answer. I don't have dates for you, Clement, on are we doing salary reviews at the end of March. I haven't put anything in stone yet. That's been the discussion, that we will look at the organization from a salary or an increase perspective. Budget is just being finalized, so we'll know more about what's been budgeted for merit increases, and then we put a process around it. Awesome. I think we're at 27 after. Any last questions? All right. It's been awesome. Thanks for your participation. I shared the link to the presentation in the channel, but Kirsten, if I'm supposed to put it someplace else, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you again in a few weeks. Take care.
Thanks, Joan.
Mama.